Most people think sewing is only about making clothes. That's not accurate. As someone who sews, I can honestly say sewing changes much more than your wardrobe. It changes how you see yourself, the way you shop, and how you express your creativity. Sewing even influences how confident you feel wearing your clothes, especially in a world where so many people struggle to find things that fit their bodies, their style, or personality. Today, I want to share 5 genuine reasons why learning to sew your clothes can improve your life. Not because you need a perfect wardrobe, but because sewing teaches something deeper. Your creativity will increase, as will your patience, confidence, and self expression. That's empowerment. And honestly, I think more people need that right now. Clothing influences our identity. And on the topic of alterations, whatever your body or shape, the issues that follow poorly fitted garments are real. Often, for a majority, buying a garment results in a demand for making clothing adjustments. Uncomfortable clothing affects your mood, and wearing things you dislike affects your confidence. Clothes can make us feel invisible. They may be ill-fitting or not our style, adding to the discomfort. Sometimes we wind up dressing for survival instead of joy. But the emotional effect of wearing something made intentionally is far reaching. Besides, fast fashion can feel disconnected. Intentional clothing feels different. Have you ever bought an item of clothing because you're simply tired of looking or because nothing else is available? Well, if you're sewing, you no longer have to force yourself into standard sizing. What we wear affects us emotionally more than we realize. Clothes can make us feel hidden, uncomfortable, restricted, or confident. And when you sew, something changes. You stop choosing only from what stores decided should exist, and you create pieces that reflect you. Think about the power creativity gives you. The comfort of choosing fabrics, color, preference, modesty needs, if you need modest clothes, and body comfort. Clothing affects our emotions. That's the bottom line. There's something deeply satisfying in wearing something you created yourself. And if you're inspired, sewing clothes allows you to unbridle the creativity that inhabits your soul. Even if it isn't perfect, sewing teaches you that you can learn difficult things. Hold this thought. You can solve problems with fabric, needle, and thread, and own some of the creativity that occupies the world. And little by little, confidence grows. I am thankful for my abilities today, but it wasn't always so. And although I don't have a first garment memory, I made countless mistakes. If I started counting them, we'll be here until next year. But putting jokes aside, I just didn't count them. Have you ever made anything and felt the pride of making it? Imagine having that feeling, on a frequent basis. You can add your touch of individuality and experience the joy of wearing a handmade item. And whether for you or someone else, the maker always has a sense of accomplishment. Sewing gives your hands something beautiful to do. In a world where so much of life happens on screens, sewing slows things and allows you to imagine possibilities. Fabric becomes ideas, and those mental pictures turn into something real. So if you want to express yourself, you will flourish because creativity will emerge or start waking up again. And very quickly, you will learn that creativity reduces stress. Using your imagination, working with your hands, exploring colors and textures, and experimenting contribute to your mental and emotional health and wellness. One of the biggest frustrations with clothing is fit. Traditionally, if you are taller, shorter, petite, wear plus sizes, or have a pear-shaped body, you will need customization because you do not fit into standard sizes. Besides, with time, our bodies change. Have you ever experienced the annoyance of sleeves that are too tight or waist gaps? Maybe you've encountered waistlines in the wrong place like I have, or pants too long that your heels won't cut it. You'll need alterations. But if you are sewing, everything is different. Your world turns. I've sewn for many years, and honestly, actual bodies are not identical. The bottom line is, if you do not fall into the standardized bracket, you may have to visit a store that caters to your body. Sewing allows you to adjust clothes to your shape, not force yourself into someone else's measurement. We want to maintain our style and mobility, and if modest dressing applies, we want to keep that too. Besides, whether you are mature or younger, in between, when we put our clothes on, whether it is something in fashion or out of fashion, or something made for you, styled for you, something trendy or not, you want your clothes to be comfortable. Period. Now, sewing can absolutely become an expensive hobby if we let it. Fabric shopping is very tempting. Exercise caution. But here's a thoughtful note. The finest clothing is not cheap. And if you favor well-made, professional quality garments, that is your privilege to enjoy. When you sew, the advantage is that you can select suitable materials in any color or pattern you like. So you learn intentionality and make deliberate choices from sewing. You repair instead of replacing and reuse fabric creatively. Most of all, you value clothing differently. And over time, those skills can save money and reduce waste. You don't need to to become a fashion designer overnight. You don't need a perfect sewing room, and your first project won't be perfect either. I don't recall, but I'm sure mine wasn't. Sewing teaches creativity, resourcefulness, and confidence. Tell me, where can you not use those qualities? There's something deeply meaningful in creating with your hands in a world that moves so fast. If you ever wanted to learn to sew, maybe this is your sign to begin. Let me know in the comments. What would you love to sew for yourself? If you enjoy creative living, sewing stories, and beginner-friendly inspiration, you are always welcome here at All My Ways Andrea. As always, thank you for being here. I appreciate your presence.